Hey everyone, and welcome. Today, we're going to crack the code on a topic that can feel like a massive race against time, the SSC reasoning paper. Now, I know it can seem like this impossible challenge, but really, it's just a bunch of puzzles that are totally solvable. And in this explainer, we're going to sharpen the mental tools you already have so you can solve them way faster and more accurately than ever. So, let's just jump right into it. This is the big one, right? The question that probably keeps a lot of you up at night. You've got 25 questions and only 20 minutes to do them. I mean, the math on that alone is enough to stress anyone out. It feels like you need to be some kind of superhero to even have a shot. But what if I told you that's not the real story? Because here's the thing. This secret weapon isn't just about moving your hand faster or clicking quicker. It's about training your brain to work smarter, not just harder. The real key is having a clear, repeatable strategy that you can use the second you see any question. And that's exactly what we're going to build right now. You know, the first step to winning any game is to know what you're up against. In this case, it's the paper itself. Now, while all the questions might look completely different, you've got folded paper, number series, logical statements, they pretty much all fall into just a few predictable categories. And here they are. Think of these as the 3 master keys that unlock the entire reasoning section. First up, visual reasoning. These are the puzzles of shape, space, and symmetry. Second, we have logical reasoning, where you have to untangle these webs of statements to find what's true. And third, pattern recognition. This is where you become a code breaker, finding the hidden logic in numbers and letters. If you can master these 3, you've pretty much mastered the test. So let's start with that first key, visual puzzles. These questions are really designed to test your ability to kind of twist and turn shapes and images around in your head. They look complicated, but they're almost always based on one simple, really elegant idea. Okay, take a look at this. This is a super classic paper folding problem. You've got a square piece of paper, it gets folded in half, then folded again, and then someone makes a few cuts. The big question is, what's it going to look like when you unfold it? Now, your first instinct might be to try and mentally trace every single fold and cut, but that takes up so much time. But wait, there's a trick to it. The secret is, it's all about symmetry. That's it. Every single fold creates a line of symmetry. So instead of trying to unfold it in your head, you just mirror the cuts across those fold lines. See? The star and the lines just reflect perfectly. Once you see that pattern, the whole puzzle basically solves itself in seconds. And this same idea applies to another super common visual puzzle, mirror images. Just look at the figure on the left and its reflection on the right. The logic is just simple inversion. The top is still the top, the bottom is still the bottom, but everything on the left flips to the right and vice versa. That D becomes sort of a backwards B. Again, it's not some complex calculation, it's just one simple rule. All right, let's put away the pictures for a second and pick up our second key, logical reasoning. Here, we're moving from the visual to the abstract. These questions give you a couple of statements and then ask you to figure out which conclusions logically have to be true. The trick here is to completely ignore what you know about the real world and only use the information they give you. Now, the most common type of question you'll see here is something called a syllogism. Sounds fancy, I know, but trust me, the idea is pretty simple. You're given 2 statements and you have to accept them as 100% true, even if they sound totally ridiculous. Your job is to figure out what conclusion must be true based only on those statements. It's like being a detective. Let's actually break one down so you can see what I mean. Statement 1, all chocolates are cookies. Just imagine a huge circle labeled cookies, and inside it, a smaller circle of chocolates. Got it? Now, statement 2, some sweets are chocolates. This means there's a sweet circle that overlaps a little bit with the chocolate circle. Well, since that entire chocolate circle is inside the cookie circle, the part that overlaps, it has to be inside the cookies circle too, right? So the conclusion that some sweets are cookies is absolutely logically unavoidable. Okay, time for our third and final key, pattern recognition. This is where you get to be a bit of a detective, a real code breaker. These questions give you a series of numbers or letters, and they challenge you to find the hidden relationship, the secret rule that connects them all. So check this out. A pretty typical example, we see a few pairs of numbers. 121 is to 12, just like 225 is to 16, and 441 is to what? At first glance, it just looks random. There's no obvious adding or multiplying that works for all of them. But trust me, there is always a hidden logic. And here's how you find it step by step. So first, you might notice that 121, that's a perfect square. It's 11 times 11. Okay, step 2. How do you get from its square root, 11, to the second number, 12? Well, you just add 1. Let's see if that pattern works for the next pair. The square root of 225 is 15. And what's 15 plus 1? 16. It works, the pattern holds. So step 3, we just apply it. The square root of 441 is 21. And for step 4, we add 1 to that. And boom, you get your answer, 22. It's a simple 2-step process that was just disguised as a tricky problem. So there you have it. We've decoded the 3 main types of puzzles you're going to face. We've seen that each one has a pretty simple core logic hiding underneath. So the big question is, how do we put all of this together into one powerful strategy that's going to work when you're under pressure? It all comes down to this. Your master key is a super simple 2-step process. The second you look at a question, your very first thought should be identify. Is this a visual puzzle about shapes? Is it a logical puzzle with statements? Or is it a pattern puzzle with numbers? Once you've identified which box it fits into, you immediately go to step 2, apply. You just apply the specific mental tool for that type, thinking in symmetry, using deductive reasoning, or hunting for that mathematical pattern. Identify, then apply. That's the whole game. And, this whole thing, it brings us to a much bigger idea. Mastering these techniques isn't just about getting a good score on an exam. Like Christopher Hitchens said, the real power lies in how you think. You're not just memorizing answers, you're building a whole new framework in your mind for how to solve problems systematically. So I want to leave you with this thought. Are you just learning a skill for an exam, or are you actually upgrading the fundamental operating system of your mind? Because the ability to see patterns, to deduce conclusions, and to think strategically, that's a skill that's going to help you long after this exam is over. अगर आपको ये वीडियो हेल्पफुल लगा हो तो प्लीज़ लाइक, शेयर और चैनल को सब्सक्राइब करना मत भूलना। सारे PDFs के लिए मेरा टेलीग्राम चैनल ज्वाइन करें, लिंक डिस्क्रिप्शन में है। कीप वॉचिंग एंड स्टे ट्यून्ड।